Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we cannot go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 218. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for Rated G, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, probably eating an apple right now, Robinson.
What's going on, man? Listen, you eat an apple a day, you keep the doctor away, right?
100%. 100%. Before we got on the mics, you said...
Especially if it's soaking in, red wine.
Yeah. Before we got on the mics, you said you made a mean sangria, and you have perfected the art of sangria making, the blood wine.
If this quarantine has done anything, it's just made me a better cook.
There you go.
I've been cooking more because I can't know where else to eat. I can't go anywhere to get anything to eat.
100%. I have a nice shank of corned beef slow roasting in the kitchen right now. Just smell the aroma. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, Dan. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna ask me what's going on, Dan, that corned beef is going on right now. It's going on all day. It's going to be nice. It's going to be ready around like 9 o'clock. Going to have a nice late dinner.
I'm just going to go get Spanish food.
Oh, that's also good too. That's one of the few things that's still open in my neighborhood.
I need to switch it up a little. I want to switch it up. I want sweet plantains. I don't have any plantains to cook.
Oh, sweet plantains. Oh.
Love sweet plantains. Can't live without sweet plantains. I need not just video games in life. I need sweet plantains. I'll tell you.
You're gonna get some. You're gonna get some arroz con pollo or beefsteak or
no. Half a chicken, pepper steak, maybe rice and beans, definitely avocado salad, some flan on the side.
There you go. I can dig it.
So, well, all right. I don't know if you're gonna dig this though. This is like breaking news. I'm seeing it Jesus. As we're recording. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like Henry Cavill may be coming back as Superman.
Oh, wow. Officially. Okay. A little bit behind the scenes, folks. This is not even the show notes. This is not even in the show notes. Dan is on the breaking news tip right now. That is crazy. Really?
Somebody just sent me a message on Facebook. I got everything muted except for Facebook because I don't really use Facebook, but somebody now that everyone's quarantined, like friends from high school and college, just been
everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Yeah.
So I just got a Facebook message, and he's like, "Superman's back," and the article popped up in the preview, and it's like Henry Cavill may be coming back as Superman. WB may be looking to bring him back as Superman as they cancel the Supergirl show on CBS.
Interesting. Oh, so he'd be on like TV type.
No. I'm just saying they can't. I know they just canceled. I think it's Supergirl. That's on the Channel 11 or CBS Channel 2. But it looks like they just canceled Supergirl, but they want to bring back Henry Cavill as Superman in the movies. So maybe we'll get a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah. Henry Cavill's great. I like him as an actor. He was great in The Witcher. We talked about that.
We just won't have Ben Affleck back.
We just won't have Batfleck. Yeah. It's a weird world, that DC.
Well, look, Henry Cavill is the old new Superman, right? We almost had Nicolas Cage as Superman. Nicolas
my
Cage was
God.
supposed to be Superman.
Yes, Tim Burton, a Tim Burton vehicle. Tim Burton
Well, Kevin
directed.
Smith was writing it, right?
That's
and
right.
Tim Burton was supposed
That's
to
right.
was directed,
Mhm.
and they did test shots with him in the suit. And I think we
Mhm.
talked about it in the show when this all like came out. But Nicolas Cage, who is Ghost Rider, by the way, well, used to be Ghost Rider. He's just all over the place.
In 2 movies.
You know, apparently he's now going to be the new Tiger King. He's going to play
Oh
Joe
my
Exotic in the TV series.
Oh my God. We knew there was going to be a thing, some sort of drama or movie or whatever made about this. Nic Cage, 100%. They nailed it. That is the perfect casting.
They did a side by side, definitely. That's him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be like crazy Nic Cage. He's gonna be like he's gonna be Con Air Nic Cage, right? He's gonna be Raising Arizona Nic Cage.
No, he's gonna be Face Off Nic Cage.
Oh God, yes, with the crazy eyes. Oh my God.
Oh, Nick. You know what? Listen, I like Nick. I like Nicolas Cage. He was like, I went to the movies to see Con Air.
Oh sure,
right.
Dude, Con Air is great, man. That is a solid movie. Mm-hmm.
When I heard that he was Ghost Rider, I was like, yeah, didn't go so well.
I mean, nothing about that movie was good. The CG was terrible. The script was terrible. The acting was okay, maybe.
I like the bike.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. Like when it was like non-CG, sure.
Imagine the original cinematic universe. Wesley Snipes as Blade, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
Oh my God.
And
is he playing double duty as Superman then in that case or no?
Maybe.
Or actually, no. Blade is Marvel, so that wouldn't work. Yeah. Oh, so is Ghost Rider.
Well, that's what I said. The first cinematic universe was Blade, was Wesley Snipes as Blade, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, and I can't think of his name. He was the Punisher in that Punisher movie.
Oh, Thomas Jane.
I think it was Thomas Jane. Yeah.
Now, wait. You also got to get Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, right? Because that was around that time.
Yeah, but they weren't. But they, like that wasn't like that wasn't Marvel, right? Marvel was a part of it, but that was Sony. Remember? So.
Well, Sony... I mean, sure, but I mean, it's Spider-Man's still a part of Sony, and he made it into the MCU.
Yeah, but because they made a deal.
Yeah, they could have made that work.
They made a new deal.
They could have made that work. Listen, I'm not talking about logistics. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
I was going on actual logistics because at that point, Spider-Man was on a different level than like Ghost Rider or like Blade.
Oh, well, yeah. No. He's probably one of the most recognizable superheroes.
Yeah,
for sure.
That would have been awesome. Oh well, if that's the case, we're not going on. We're not going like in reality then.
It's all hypothetical. This is late 90s, early 2000s hypotheticals.
And then who's bringing them all together? The Hoff.
The Hoff. Oh
he played. He did play in the TV movie. He was Nick Fury.
Oh my God, that's right.
Doing backflips and jump kicks.
But
I mean, Nicolas Cage. Almost played Superman, and Henry Cavill's playing Superman. Superman does go into outer space. At least he did in Superman 1, right? Or was it 2?
I think it may have been 2.
I think it was in 2. The CG back then was pretty good. We got great CG now when it comes to space, but we may be able to actually record in space. And that's a real thing. I'm not even joking, because Tom Cruise has teamed up with Elon Musk to shoot actual movies, well, a movie at least, an action movie in space.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I heard about this too. It's pretty wild.
He's gonna shoot movies in space.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to choose the action star, you go with Tom Cruise, right? And if you want to choose the man to make it happen, Elon Musk is the way to go, right? He's independent. He's got a hell of a ton of money. He runs Tesla. He's got a SpaceX program. He's got his boring company, right? He's doing all this like crazy stuff. So he has the means, I think, to make this happen. I do. And
this could be a start of something. We may see Marvel movies in space.
Maybe.
In actual space.
Yeah.
That's going to be like phase 7.
I feel like... I honestly feel like it's more of a gimmick than anything, right? Because you can make convincing space nowadays, all right?
Yeah, what can he really do, right? Like he's gonna have to just be like he's gonna shoot all his scenes when he's like in the space station floating. That's gonna be like he's gonna be he's gonna be really in space.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get some outside shots, but they're also going to sweeten it afterwards, right? There's going to be some post processing effects. They're going to add, CG and special effects over the top. Like,
come on, it'd be great if we get rocket explosions, actual rocket explosions in space, like they do.
I mean,
like,
sure.
You have a car exploding, like it's a real car exploding, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
So
at least
rocket exploding.
At least you won't have Neil deGrasse Tyson ripping your movie apart for not being space accurate.
There you go.
It'll literally be that is the star pattern behind the space station in the background, right?
Well, about time we actually have movies like that, like real movies in space. We'll be in the future. We'll be in 2077 or something like that.
Right.
Well, speaking of 2077. Or Cyberpunk 2077.
I was wondering why that date in particular. I was wondering why you said that date in particular.
Segue. Everyone's going crazy because, like Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red sort of announced like they'll have like a Cyberpunk news broadcast at some point in June, right? Which probably would have been their E3 presentation at some point somewhere, maybe at Xbox or maybe with Sony or something. They fully show off the game. Stuff that we haven't seen already, another trailer. Everyone's going crazy though because you can now, from the first time I can see, maybe I'm wrong. You can modify the size of your genitals.
Oh, so
not only you can pick your sex, you can modify the size of your genitals.
So are you going crazy over the genital size? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, listen. All I'm gonna say is now. When I create a character and I want to create a character that has a fair representation of me, I can really do that now.
Oh boy, you're gonna try and push that slider all the way out. You're gonna break the slider. You're gonna try and break the slider.
Keeping it PG. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna have a fair representation of me in the game.
Here's what I want to know, and I'm actually semi-serious with this question. Will this have any tangible effects in the game? I'm serious. Will it like weigh you down because it's too big? Will you be able to seduce the opposite sex or the same sex?
Or will you be able to run faster if you make it short?
Yeah, right. Is it gonna grow and expand based on the weather? Like, because you remember back in Red Dead Redemption 2, I was like reading about a thing where they said that the size of the horse's balls would expand and contract based on the weather. And I'm like, why would that detail even be in there? Like, who's even going to notice that? But you know what? I took a look. It's true. I mean, it's crazy
okay.
the level of detail.
I have a semi-serious question.
Oh, boy.
All right. So it said you can modify the size, but can I modify it to be a weapon? Can I have an actual bazooka in my pants and not be joking?
Oh my god! Oh, you want to get some explosive rounds in there?
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely pretty crazy and probably a first. It's probably going to be if they had analytics for the character creator, I bet that screen. People would be on that screen the longest.
So,
right? Because I mean, you can't just kind of like, it's fine. I'll just go ahead and choose the default. No, you gotta go ahead and make it your own, right? You gotta get
put
in
a
there.
limit on how big you can make it. That's all I want.
Well, I'm getting it for the PC. They're gonna have mods for it.
Oh God!
And I can't wait to see what comes out of that.
Every time you make it, you just hear the John Cena theme song.
Oh my!
Come on, I don't want to get flagged. Let's not get flagged.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, that was pretty accurate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Listen, I'm pitch perfect when it comes to WWE superstar themes.
So, all right, let's move on. Dave, you get any good pickups this week?
I did. Your favorite franchise, Dan, Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, franchise I love to collect for but never play.
I picked up the RE3 remake, right? Because you gotta.
I will too. Listen, I will too, and I'm gonna get it for Xbox One because all the Resident Evil games I have for the Xbox One. So I'm going to get it for the Xbox One.
It's the most powerful system on the market. I don't blame you.
Until the PS5 comes out. But that's neither here nor there.
We'll see. Well, we don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll see how that shakes out. Yeah. So I have that. I still got to go back and beat 2. I'm at the final boss of 2. So I will do that before cracking into 3. But yeah, I mean, everyone's like, yeah, this game is great. It's the same engine as 2, right? 3 has a pretty good story. You play as Jill and Carlos this time, which is kind of nice. Kind of switch it up a little bit. It's a prequel to 2, which is funny. It goes 1, 3, 2 in terms of the chronology. But yeah, it's pretty solid.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, still playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That game is so good. I never thought I would ever say that about any Final Fantasy games in the world. I did.
I am up to the big haunted house in the Colosseum.
Okay.
It is a very tough battle. I 100% agree. I died like 3 times already. Okay. I did the assess thing on it. I found it was weak to thunder. Try and hit it with thunder, right? It's either thunder or a blizzard, one of the two. And still not enough. You get it down to like half health, and then it transforms. I always get wiped. I don't know what to do. Do you have any tips? Have any tips for me?
Get good.
I tell that to you all the time. I think so. I guess I kind of deserve it.
You definitely deserve that.
Well, also on the Final Fantasy tip, I'm going to take that advice to heart and go back to 7. By the way, I'm going to take that advice to heart and try and get good. But I'm also playing Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call, which is the rhythm game, the high on fan service rhythm game. Like, so much ridiculous fan service in this game, and it's just like a rhythm tap game for the 3DS. It's fantastic. Hundreds of songs are in there. I mean, literally hundreds of songs. They have the movies from some of the later games in there, as well as all these songs, as well as all the background stages and graphics and this and that. The game is ridiculously good, Dan. It's okay. I wouldn't recommend it to many people because, like, you got to be deep into Final Fantasy to really get the most out of it. But it's so good, so good.
Okay.
So how about you? What are you playing?
I haven't been playing any real modern games yet. I don't know what the next game I'm going to dive deep into, since I already beat Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay.
But I did go back to an oldie but goodie. I went back to the original Super Mario Brothers, and I finally beat it.
Classic.
I was playing Nintendo Online, and I have the time now, right? And I actually beat it. That game is really good, and it gets I don't know if I really like the puzzles. Towards the last 2 castles, right?
Puzzles.
Where it's like,
right.
You got to figure out what pipe to go down. In that order, in that sequence.
Yep.
And then I beat the lost levels as well, which was really Super Mario Brothers 2.
2, right. The Japanese 2.
Yeah. So I beat both of those finally. It's been a long time.
Wow, kudos.
So, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll get into the top gaming news of last week.
All right.
This is Justin from the Lit Gaming Arena podcast, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to talk about next gen. And when I mean next gen, I mean Xbox, because we haven't heard a peep from Sony still after we've seen the controller. But we did say last week that this week that Xbox would be showing off the gameplay from next gen games from third parties, not first parties. And we saw it. It was okay. It was okay. I don't want to go over
We did see it.
We did see it. I don't want to go over every game. I don't want to go over every game that was shown on there, but sure. I want to highlight a couple of games.
I guess we can consider like E3 kicked off, right? Because this, for all intents and purposes, would have been part of the big E3 presentation, right?
Well, I think it kicked off last week because I think we had that Stadia Connect.
Yeah, I guess you would consider that too, right? I don't know if that would have been outside of E3 or inside of E3, but sure, yeah, why not?
Well, technically EA is outside of E3, right? They just do it around E3 time.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. I don't know if this was still planned for this time, or they were like going to do something else around E3, or like this was their like one and only thing. But yeah.
And if that was their E3, it's sort of E3 style presentation. I hope they have another one, because they're going to need it if they want to compete. At the end of the year.
Yeah. Stadia wasn't that great.
Stadia, not so good. But let's stick with Xbox and all the third party games. So we got the first game they showed, Bright Memory Infinite. What a name, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I thought it was like a Mirror's Edge sequel, right? Because you had a sword. It was a first person view. You had a sword. You were sliding, and you were. I think at one point you were like ran a wall. It was like a wall jump.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was very cinematic. It did have shades of Mirror's Edge. I can definitely kind of get behind that. I mean, it looked beautiful. I mean, it did look really good. But I think the caveat, maybe with like all these games, is that they were target renders as opposed to like actual gameplay, right?
Yeah, I mean, this I'm going to talk about it. We'll talk about, the big gameplay reveal of next gen a little bit later in the show. But just from what we did see, which was in-game engine, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, again, it was part of the scene where your character is shooting. Again, this is where I was like, wow, is this Call of Duty? Like, what is this? Like, just the shooting mechanics. The shooting looked on point. You can hit somebody with a saber, and then you can freeze them in air, or freeze them and turn them and twist them, and then hit them with your sword. And then the DeLorean came out of nowhere. Don't know if that's really a DeLorean or not. Just saying, it looked like a DeLorean. And then you go into a driving sequence, right? And I was like, oh man, so we go from first person view, just like in combat, right, and semi stealth, and then you go into like a driving sequence where you're actually behind the wheel of the car. So I wonder if you can change the view in the car as well, right, where you can maybe see the car, but maybe not. They want to keep it in that first person sort of view, but I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of was digging that. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I knew this ain't, I knew this wasn't indicative of what next gen can do, at least yet. But from what I saw, I thought that was cool.
Sure.
And then right after that, they showed Dirt 5, the Dirt series.
Yeah. I mean, you almost always are going to get a racing game at console launch, right? It's almost ubiquitous. We didn't see
nice
any
environment. It was a nice environment. It looked like they had a day and night cycle. I can't really tell. They did show the city. They did panorama of the city at night. So I don't know if that means you can drive around at night and drive around during the day, if it was day and night cycle, but it seemed to be that way. That's the way I perceived it.
Yeah, I mean, there may just be like you can choose your time of day to race. I don't know like how dynamic it's going to be, because again, it was really more of like sizzle reels almost of like, here's all these cool games and some cool shots of these games, potentially in engine. And they're like, yeah, get excited. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, Dirt's always been a good series, right? They've been around since PS2 days, I think.
Oh, they've been around for a long time. I think the first Dirt game I ever got was on Game Boy Advance.
Well, I think it may have started with Colin McRae Rally and then turned into Dirt, because I think it's still Codemasters all the way through, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless, they're fun games. It'd be nice to kind of like run around in the mud on these kind of 4-wheel vehicles. It's good. We haven't seen any first party stuff yet, right? So we don't know if Forza is going to be a launch title or not. We would assume, and that would be like a second racing game into the mix. So not too bad, in that respect. But
so the next game they showed after that was a game called Scorn. Now, legit, when they were showing it, I thought this was a Prometheus game, just from the visuals, right? They had like these big white, pearl white figures hovering over each other, right? And they looked all scary and like sort of like alien-esque.
Yeah,
right?
well,
From
it's
the Alien
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, it's all H.R. Giger stuff, like inspired. Again, no gameplay. It was really just like, here's some really up close, beautiful visuals. More like, target render stuff and whatnot.
It was weird 'cause you put an eye into something and the blood came out and then the blood circulated and then an eye, sort of eye thing came out of this guy's head. It was crazy. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I would say the most beautiful looking out of all of the trailers, right? This one really like stood out to me.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm really good.
horror
movies type games. I'm good.
No, I'm just I'm talking about like the visual fidelity, right? Like it just looked the best.
Debatable, yeah. If I was debating, I would put that in. Definitely, I would put that in the debate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that one stole the show, like visually. But again, we don't know because it wasn't running directly on Xbox Series X hardware, so it was kind of hard to be like, well, oh great, this is what it's going to look like.
Well, I can't say the same for Madden 21.
Yeah, they did a little.
They had more of a sizzle reel of the history of Madden. They showed sort of how the Madden games throughout time, sort of transformed into what it is now. Mm-hmm. But the biggest controversy, sort of with Madden and EA in general, is sort of the whole point of most of these games are part of the Xbox club where you buy it on Xbox One and you can get it free on Xbox Series X. Obviously, it means digital.
Yeah.
The Madden one, the EA sort of clarified because they didn't have that symbol at the bottom, that Xbox program at the bottom, but they sort of clarified that you will be able to, if you buy Madden 21 for an Xbox One in July, you will be able to redeem it for free on Xbox Series X up until March 31st. So that was sort of the controversy, where all the other games that you can do, like Cyberpunk 2077, right? In a lot of games in the trailer showed that if you buy it on Xbox One, it's free on Xbox Series X, no time limit, right?
Right, yeah.
Until next holiday season of 2021.
So they had that special like badge that I don't know, like transport enabled or whatever it is, right? They have that program where it's like if you buy it for this, it's good on next gen, right?
Yeah, but if you buy it physical, just so you know, if you buy it physical, they did say it was backwards compatible with all games. So you should be able, if you buy it physical, it should still work on your Xbox Series X. Hopefully there's a patch to upgrade maybe the visuals or whatever, the differences, the actual big differences are. So
Right.
The game that really stole my attention was that Vampire's Bloodline 2. Yep. If anything, that looked like more of a We Happy Few meets Vampire game.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that type of feel with the music and the dancing, which the dancing, much to be desired. Still wasn't impressed with the dancing, but I like the style of the game. And I was like, what is this? Is this person has them in a trance? But it was like, he's a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's Vampire RPG.
Yeah. Vampires is based off a long-running tabletop RPG, which has had some PC releases. One in like the late 90s, and I think there was one in the mid-2000s, which may have come to consoles too. Not too sure. Vampire the Masquerade is really what it's kind of known by. I think there was a Bloodline, now a Bloodline 2. It looked okay, like visually. The potential for a good game is definitely there. I wasn't over the moon about the visuals though. If I saw that and they said, here's what next gen is, and I would go, But it was very stylish, right? Very stylish. And I kind of get the We Happy Few reference. I think it definitely had some shades of that, right? Kind of little diabolicalness going on behind the scenes. Vampires kind of roaming around. So yeah, I don't know.
And the next game was sort of set in a futuristic cyberpunk type world. It was called Ascent, right? And it looked like a twin stick shooter. It was more of like Diablo meets cyberpunk.
100%. Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. They had some side-scrolling missions. Well, it looked like they had some missions that were side-scrolling, but most of it was sort of like open-world Diablo style.
Yeah.
That looked awesome. I was sort of into that.
Yeah. I think like the one thing that I was kind of reading about it is that sadly, because I think they did have some pretty high-res visuals. When it comes out, I think it's going to meet those or even maybe exceed those. I think it's going to have a high frame rate. It's probably going to be 4K, right? Because there's not a lot going on. Like, it's not as much as like a full 3D game going on, but I think a lot of the detail is going to be lost because you're not going to be able to zoom in that far because you need to kind of see the battlefield to know where the enemies are. It's the only negative thing I can kind of.
I mean, in the side-scrolling missions, it look like you're like sort of zoomed in a little bit more, right? Where you can get sort of a feel of the detail in the world. But you're totally right when it's sort of like that Diablo style-esque, where you're top sort of top angle down, looking at your character, doing it, in the open world, the twin stick style. You won't be able to get a lot of the detail. So I can see that.
Yeah.
The next game sticks with the theme of the show. It was another sort of horror type game. It was called The Medium.
Many horror games.
It was called The Medium, where you see your character is pregnant. Well, I don't even know if I'm assuming that's the main character in the game, the protagonist, and you're pregnant, and you look like you have you're in both worlds. You're in the regular world, and you're in sort of this horror type world where it's like the Upside Down, right? Because it did at some point look like there was a giant monster just like from Stranger Things that was hovering over the church,
just kind of looming around. Well, something's got to be the demon.
Yeah.
It did look
psychological horror game.
A little like, I don't know if a good comparison is Condemned Criminal Origins, but just kind of like really kind of like spooky, really kind of just like deep into the horror.
You know what would be awesome? Because they showed a little bit of gameplay where you're like sort of, it looked like you're platforming, right? Like you're trying to get from one side to another. It'd be cool, like if you are in one world, right, and then you need to get to the other side of the area to investigate for whatever the storyline is, and then you got to like transfer. Since you're a medium, you got to transfer to the other world, right?
Oh, flip back and forth. Yeah. I was kind of envisioning that it would be some sort of kind of dual world situation like that. Yeah. I think I would be kind of neat. Yeah.
And then they sort of switched it up. They sort of switched things up and transitioned from, the horror style games, which dominated at the beginning of the presentation inside Xbox, to a game that looks more like Astral Chain meets Nier. It was from Bandai Namco called Scarlet Nexus.
The only Japanese entry.
Actually, not true. There were 2 Japanese entries. We'll get to that in a minute. But the only one you could kind of look at and say, yes, this is from a Japanese company. Well, this was the art style. You had that Astral Chain sort of art style and sort of character models.
Yeah, sure. Right? Everything was kind of like bright and a little bit cell shaded. And yeah.
Battles look identical to Astral Chain. I thought in my mind, I was like, is this Astral Chain 2 with no chains? Because I didn't see any chains anywhere. And I was like, oh, okay, I could see this. I was like, is this Plasma Sword like the adventure or something? Like, because I did say Plasma Sword last week. I did say Plasma, bring back Plasma Sword.
You did.
But that looked interesting. That game actually is. A lot of these games are going to be out on PS5 because on the PlayStation YouTube channel, they did release a lot of these trailers as well. So
yeah, like almost right after the presentation, they're like, all right, we're good to go.
Yeah, we got this too. It's coming out on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So this looked like a good game. Another game that came out that showed was Second Extinction, and that looked 100% like Call of Duty meets Dino Crisis, right? It was like Call of Duty with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You have your team, and you're in the mountains, and you're like shooting dinosaurs instead of
big guns, big dinos. Yeah. Look cool. It looked cool.
But the second Japanese game they showed, which was a surprise, was a new Yakuza game. It's called Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh yeah, they got the scoop on that one.
And it's going to be in. I mean, this is also probably going to be in a PlayStation as well. But this is going to be a launch game for the Xbox Series X. Well, it said launch slate, to be specific.
Yeah,
but,
so it'll probably be in that first month window,
around
before
first 3 months.
Christmas. Yeah. I mean, it looked really cool. I don't know the Yakuza timeline or any of the plot points or anything that really goes on, but it looked cool. You know, it looked kind of cool, fun and wacky, like the other Yakuza games look like. So,
but then the presentation ended with sort of a modified, shortened version of Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer, right?
Right. I don't know why. That's the one thing that really, like, they're like world premiere. I'm like, come on. We already saw this trailer like 2 days ago from Ubisoft.
This would have been awesome if it was new, right? If it was like, this was the biggest game it was the biggest game that they had, but it also was the game that we already talked about last week.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And it's also not surprising for an Assassin's Creed game to be a launch title. They have been launch titles before. Black Flag on the original Xbox was or Xbox One, I should say, was a launch title. So, and they do them almost every year. So we were just waiting for it to happen.
If you ask me, they should have, since it was already announced, they should have showed it first and get it out the way and just end it with Yakuza, because nobody would have thought Yakuza would be on an Xbox. On an Xbox system.
Yeah. It was, and that was like basically it, right? There was like maybe 10 games or so. None of it was, everything was, I assumed it was in engine, but they had to caveat everything. Like, you know, this is like a target render or whatever. They always had these little things across the bottom to like, be like, you know, is production footage, or, you know, it's still in development or whatever. And I'm like,
you know what? People were pissed off. People were really mad. People were angry because they felt misled, because Xbox hyped this up. They said this was going to be next gen gameplay, and we got less gameplay, more cinematics.
I mean, there was, it all had some extra. It had some extra around.
People so mad they downgrade. They disliked it. The dislikes to like ratio was so ridiculous that they had to delete the original post and repost it.
Ugh, that's just being petty.
Yeah, well, Matt Booty had to. Matt Booty had to go. Aaron Greenberg, I should say, had to go and address the fans and sort of apologize for this, right?
Yeah.
And so to say, hey, we're sorry. If we would have just not said anything and just said we have Inside Xbox with next gen games to be announced, it would have been fine. But we set expectations that we probably shouldn't have set, at least for this Inside Xbox.
They kind of did.
At least they acknowledged, you know, like they acknowledged there was a mistake, that they shouldn't have hyped it up so much.
Oh, yeah, no. 100%.
I give them props for that.
100%. But
the interesting thing is, that I saw, one of the interesting things I saw throughout the whole presentation, and I think you said it earlier when we were talking about each game, that all these games were probably shot from a PC or Xbox One X.
Yep.
Because they always had that new badge, and we got a first look at the logo officially, that Series X logo that we talked about that they patent, but we didn't know if that was going to be the official logo, but it is, where it says this is optimized for the Xbox Series X.
Right.
So every game had that little seal at the bottom where, hey, we know this is not Xbox Series X gameplay, but this is optimized for the Xbox Series X. Right.
So you'll get some benefit out of it. It's obviously not an exclusive game because Matt Booty, he's on the record as saying, like, we want that cross compatibility, we want the cross generational gameplay, we want to make the transition easy for people to move into the Series X when they're ready to do so, and you can play all your current games, and they'll be optimized for the Xbox Series X, so you'll get more out of them when you get that, which is like cool, but it also doesn't show the full potential of the next generation console either, right? Because it's always like, well, you gotta build for the lowest common denominator and then put in some extras and try and zhuzh it up a little bit. But it's not made from the ground up based on the new hardware, right? So I get it, and like it's cool, and I'm glad they're doing that. But also at the same time, like I want some exclusive games, you know.
Well, I don't think you're not going to get any exclusive games for like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be Xbox Series X optimized, right? It's optimized for Xbox Series X. It's not going to be built from the ground up just for that, because they don't want to leave anybody behind. At least it looks like that's what they're doing for third parties as well, right? Maybe first parties will always be backwards compatible. I mean, Phil Spencer did say that, right? We'll see how long that lasts, because I can't see games in 2025 being built for being playable on Xbox Series X,
right?
Xbox One X. I mean, sorry.
Or what about regular Xbox One? Right? I don't think they're making any differentiation. A system that came out in 2013 will be able to play Xbox Series X games. Like maybe, maybe.
No. But I got to give again. I give Microsoft and Xbox credit, right? Because we haven't heard, other than the controller, we haven't heard anything about the PS5, right? PlayStation they don't seem to have a plan. All the rumors are that they're backing out of the original marketing plan because of everything that's happened with the pandemic. Right. And they're going back to the drawing board to come up with a strategy to release the PS5, where Microsoft has laid out a whole plan for 2020, and they're calling it Xbox 2020, right? So they plan to release sort of a stream every month, outline something different and new for the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is sort of in lieu of E3, right? Because E3, I believe that they would have sort of just laid out all their cards if E3 actually happened, right? For the
I don't think anything would have been different if E3 was going on. They would have their thing as they would have the games, the system, the price, everything at E3.
Yeah, but since E3 isn't coming on, I think they want to spoon feed us, because honestly, they're not going to know when anybody else is going to, like, PlayStation is going to. We don't have no idea when PlayStation is going to put out any information.
I don't know what they're doing.
Right. So the whole plan is to sort of give us a little by little every month, so they can have sort of. And I get the strategy, so you can maintain market share in people's minds, right, of next gen. So.
Yeah, right. Like they are. Microsoft is dominating the
next gen
video
talk,
game,
because they're talking
the next gen. Well, right. Everyone's like, yeah, we have all this stuff. You can't talk about something that there's nothing to talk about, right? Sony's got a controller, and we talked about it. That was great. Sony's got next gen audio, and we talked about it. And that was great. Now what? We got nothing. Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about.
It's so many things they can do with this. As far as planning out to put streams out every month. They can partner with Jeff Keighley and sort of his summer fest of games that's going to last 4 months out, right? And we just got the Inside Xbox for May, so May is sort of done. So we're looking at more of June, July, August.
Right.
So
we have the third party component, right? We have the third party games. We have a good starting lineup, if you will, of third party games. We don't have all of them.
Well, not all of them are going to go. Not all of them are coming out think I think only 2 of those games, definitely Yakuza, and there was another game I can't think of off the top of my head that sort of had holiday 2020. But we do have an idea of what third parties are doing. But as far as their plan of streaming, putting out a little bit in different streams every month, I mean, they can partner. Maybe they can partner with IGN, who's having their own sort of stream. At some point in June, they could partner with Jeff Keighley, who has his whole summer-long, video game fest. And they can also partner with Gamescom. Gamescom is going all digital, right? So they can maybe, they can even have their own Inside Xbox and throw Gamescom a sort of a bone. A game or feature or something, or just another cinematic trailer of games they've already shown, so they could be part of the zeitgeist when Gamescom has their digital event in August. So there's so many things they can do, so many different people they can partner up with to get the message out there of whatever they want us to know about next gen games.
Right. Well, I mean, again, like, we have seen zero first party, right? We saw a little bit of the Halo thing back at what was it? The Game Awards. Yeah. Speaking of,
we really didn't see. Keighley. We only got a cinematic trailer. We haven't.
Well, I mean, we saw a little bit of it, right? We saw a little bit of it. We got the system. When we got the full teardown in March. We're missing the first party presentation. We're missing the kind of here's the new system. Here's the UI. And we're missing the price point, right?
Well, no, I think you're missing other features as well, right? I think an Xbox Series X, just like the PS5, are going to have more features other than just quick stop and quick
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I mean by the UI, right? They'll kind of take us around the dashboard and like, well, here's what you can do, and here's this, and here's that. I don't know if there's going to be anything. I personally don't think there's going to be anything more groundbreaking. I don't think they're going to like bust out and we also have VR without the goggles or anything like that. Like, I don't know what else they're going to put on the table in terms of features.
Well, I'm glad you talked about first party. I mean, the rumor and innuendo is that they're going to have a stream in July where they're going to outline their first party games. Hopefully, a lot of Halo will be a part of that, right? I mean, I can't imagine them not having a first party stream. We're talking about first party Halo is going to come out. That's going to be a launch game for the Xbox Series X.
Well, like the one thing that they're going to need to do, like, because you mentioned before about the partnerships, right? If they're gonna partner with IGN and partner with Gamescom and whatever, since everything is digital, right? There's no physical presence, so partnering with them means, hey, we're going to give you this exclusive thing and we're going to premiere this thing here, right? So maybe it's a new feature for Halo. Maybe we get like in-depth on the new Forza game, if that's going to be a launch title in like the IGN thing, right? Maybe Kiwi gets something specific, right? So I would highly doubt that they wouldn't have Halo in this first party presentation come July, right?
So this is what I think. If you can ask me what I predict, this is what I think. I think in June, we're going to see the rumored lower powered Xbox Series X, right? The disc drive.
Oh, you think that's still coming?
I think that's 100% coming. There's too many rumors out there. IGN's covered it. GameSpot. Everybody. It's a rumor that it's like the worst kept secret where everybody sort of has some inkling that this is happening, right?
Does anyone have inside information, or are they just basing it off the fact that Xbox One?
No, everybody's basing it off of their sources that they've heard. So,
I mean, it's
these are we're talking about like IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, all the big guys, all the big guys.
It's a very good guess, 100%, and it would make sense, right? If Microsoft is going by their last E3 presentation where they're like, we want to be able to make it all digital, right? They want to be able to interact and download all this stuff and be able to play without any restrictions. You know, they were going very hard with the cloud and all that stuff. That was their presentation last E3. So I think you're right. I think it makes sense.
Well, I think what is it? I think it was codename Xbox Scarlet. I think that was the lower one, right? Scarlet. We're going to see that in June. I think we're going to see that in June. We're going to see first parties in July by all accounts, all the rumors. And then sort of in August, I think we're going to get the price. I think sort of late like August we get the price.
That's going to be the August reveal is the price.
And we'll get the UI, other features, and the price in August. I think they're going to hold that close to the vest as long as they can until the pre-orders go up, which will probably be at some point in August. So I think that will be your Gamescom. I think they'll partner with Gamescom, and that will be a Gamescom inside Xbox reveal.
Well, they're going to be doing stuff all up until the launch of the system, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're going to be doing stuff until launch of the system, but I think the price is something they got to get out here this summer because they're going to have pre-orders ready at some point during the summer. I mean, I think you just have to have pre-orders ready.
I mean, like once you get the price out there, I think that kind of starts to open the door up to like, all right, I don't know how the production
once the price goes up, it's gonna go up for sale pre-order.
Yeah. Right? Like I don't know how the production lines are working and all that. I don't know if it's just gonna be
Phil Spencer said he has no doubt in his mind the actual console is going to be released. His issue, his only issues are software. He says software is the thing where that may delay games because people are working from home, but hardware-wise, he is on point for a 2020 release. And PlayStation has said, Sony has said the same thing.
It's a bold claim, I know, and I hope they stick to it because I really want both companies to succeed. All right.
So, but I think we won't get a price maybe until some point in August.
Oh.
I think August. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe
Well,
in June.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. As soon as somebody drops the foot, that means the other company is going to drop the foot, right? As soon as Xbox does it, then Sony's coming out. And if Sony jumps the gun and they came out first, then Microsoft's going to be like, and here's our price.
I can't disagree with that. You're right. If PlayStation comes out tomorrow, I think Xbox will have to have pressure on them to reveal the price and put pre-orders up.
And I think they're just playing chicken, right? They're going to see who's going to come out first.
But the whole reason is why they're playing chicken. And I think they're playing chicken because they know both consoles are going to cost a pretty good amount.
It's going to be
both consoles are going to be minimum $4 and up, right? Minimum $3.99.
Maybe if there's a diskless drive, maybe.
Yeah, minimum.
Maybe.
But all right, I talked about Xbox partner up with Gamescom, right? Because Gamescom are going all digital. They've canceled their actual show.
Yeah.
Other companies have canceled their conventions as well. Tokyo Game Show,
I know,
that usually happens around September after Labor Day. That's officially been canceled. And Paris Games Week, that happens usually around October time, has officially been canceled. There's been no talk, at least. Tokyo Game Show is going to be online only, so they're going to have their own digital event.
Right.
But Paris Games Week, there's no talks of any type of digital event. The event has just been canceled, from what I can see right now.
Right. Well, how does that make you feel? Because they're getting rid of physical, Dan.
Well, you know what?
They're getting rid of all these physical conventions.
You know what? People's health is more important right now.
No, I know, but I mean, we talk about the all digital future, right? Who knew that the conventions would also be a part of that?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it reminds me of PlayStation Home, right? On the PS3, where
God, yeah.
Right, where you can stand in front of a big screen and watch an event.
That's right. I thought that was such an amazingly neat idea, but it just...
They may have to bring that back for the PS5.
I mean, maybe. Imagine, given they had enough time, how cool would it be to log on to your PlayStation, right? Log in with your ID into a PlayStation Home type thing, and they had all these virtual theaters you could walk around in and sit down and watch the trailer for, I don't know, like Killzone 5 or, Uncharted 5 or 6 or whatever it is.
No, that would be cool.
That'd be pretty dope, right?
Especially if you're standing with other people. Listen, they had their own Animal Crossing type game and didn't even and canceled it. Didn't even know it. Look at that. They could have. If I had a big a nice sized condo in the middle of Sony Square or wherever it was, right? Only if I could have customized it, just like I do Animal Crossing.
I know, man.
But since Tokyo Game Show and Paris Games Week both officially canceled, Tokyo Game Show going digital only. PAX West is on the clock because PAX West is is right between Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, and both have already canceled. So as of right now, PAX West is not canceled, but I think soon they're gonna be forced to sort of put the kibosh on that. So and also New York Comic-Con, right? San Diego Comic-Con definitely had to cancel. I think New York Comic-Con is gonna be forced to cancel only because the Javits Center. It's always been at the Javits Center for as long as I can remember, and Javits Center right now is still in use. Right in New York, as far as being at a place where patients can go, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a hospital built by the Army Corps, right? Like it's definitely unusable for convention purposes.
And even at some point when that actually stops, they're gonna have to fumigate the place, right? They're gonna have to clear out the place, disinfect the place like from top to bottom, and that's gonna take a while.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think both PAX and Comic-Con, they need to cancel, and they'll probably be doing that pretty soon. Maybe I would say by the end of May, I think we'll hear an announcement, maybe like early June, that they're just like, nope, we're not going to do it. PAX, I would assume, just wouldn't go on, right? Because PAX is really about playing the games, getting the hands-on thing. It's all about the fans, right? Everyone goes to hang out and commune and play video games, so you can't do that, right? So I think that's going to go away. Comic-Con may do a digital thing, right? They may have some digital press conferences, right? Usually we get some announcements or whatever. They have panels. Maybe they'll do something digital. I don't know. But
well, I think I think that's the last PAX too, right? Because PAX East was early this year, and we went to that. And
right.
PAX Aussie was right before that. That was early as well. No. PAX South was before that. That was early.
Before that, yeah.
And PAX Aussie, I think, was canceled, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. So
right.
I think this is the last PAX of the year.
PAX Unplugged happened at the earlier in the year. I think January. It's either that or PAX Unplugged is the last one of the year.
So I think this could be the last PAX. So I think they should just put the kibosh on this and just look at 2021, and hopefully we're in a better state where large groups of people can actually come together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's weird. I'm actually looking at it now. PAX 2020, PAX West is November 20th. Wow.
Oh, really? They pushed it out.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Well,
wow.
they had it scheduled. I think they may have moved it. Yeah. Yeah, so
okay.
it's like way late in the year. Yeah.
I mean, we were early and that was late.
Yeah. PAX East is one
I
of
don't
the
think
early times.
PAX West has never been that late. It's always been.
Usually it's like October, yeah. So I think they ended up moving the chains.
Not even October. It's
or August, I mean, yeah.
It's either the end of August or it's always between Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was always like sandwiched in like after PAX West, you have a couple of days or a week, and then you gotta go to Tokyo Game Show, right?
So PAX Australia, October 9th to the 11th of 2020, which is technically still scheduled, according to the website. I don't know.
So we got to see how. Well, we don't know how Australia's doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to open up things, maybe.
Oh wait, no, never mind.
That was last year.
PAX Unplugged is November 20th to the 22nd. PAX West is September 4th to the 7th. So it's probably going to get canceled.
Yeah. But what's not canceled? Well, E3 is canceled. Mm-hmm. E3 is definitely canceled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But EA, who's never at E3, just around E3 time, has
like the day before.
It's like the day, yes. E3 has announced their E3 style only, digital only event in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have that to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would ever be happy for any type of digital event in June. Like, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I never thought I'd be looking forward to an EA event.
I think,
but I am, because I'm clamoring for something. I'm clamoring for something.
Yeah, I think they're literally having it on the day when they would have normally had their presentation.
Well, they're able to do that. They don't have to worry about licensing out any type of Coliseum or anything, right?
Right.
They can do it whenever they want.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in June. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, June, we're not going to have E3, but we're going to have E3 style events with Jeff Keighley, IGN, Games Radar. Xbox said they're going to do something every month. Hopefully Sony will do something. Mm-hmm. Now we have EA, and hopefully, I can't wait to see what Madden 2021 is going to actually look like.
I'm actually kind of interested,
because we didn't really see any of that in the Inside Xbox, right?
Yeah.
We saw they had the history of Madden, and we got literally 3 seconds of gameplay of Madden 21.
Yeah, they had Patrick Mahomes there talking about like football. I'm like, all right, that's a great get. You get the best damn QB in the league, right? For a sport that may or may not have a delayed, neutered, or maybe not even a season at all. Who knows? So it's weird, right? You have this roster for the 2021 or 2020-2021 season, and it may not even kick off.
But you know what? Even if it doesn't kick off, you always have the video game. Everyone's going digital, all right? I mean, they have NBA 2K tournaments on Twitch, on streaming like live on ESPN.
I know.
There was a tennis tournament. I think Rafael Nadal won it. I could be wrong. Somebody, a big tennis player, won a tennis tournament that was on ESPN. Could have been him
or Federer, or Venus or Serena. Who knows?
No. I think it was a men's tournament. Maybe it could have been Federer. Mm-hmm. And then you have hockey. Hockey sort of had their tournament, and baseball definitely. Baseball's been delayed as well, right? We're already in May, and opening night hasn't even happened yet.
Baseball. I don't even think is going to have a season. Because by the time we get to open, it's going to be the end of the season.
No,
it's
but there's
gonna be
always
close
been-
to October.
I know, but they were talking about a little inside baseball, folks. They were talking baseball. They were talking about maybe doing the season for like a month or two, like just putting all the players in one central location in Arizona, right, and just having the season like over August and September.
Wow, weird. Just a small, like, I don't know, 30 games apiece, 20 games apiece.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be 100 games. It would be a small season and
162 is a full season, I think.
Yeah, they would
Yeah,
have
you
a full
can't have
season.
that.
They would have a modified season and a straight playoff just to get a winner for 2020, right?
Yeah, well, you
and
gotta
NBA
try and do something if you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and NBA wants to, they're in the midst of maybe coming together. Commissioner said he would love to have NBA champion at least by Labor Day, by having a maybe modified rest of the season, maybe in July, and having the playoffs in August, maybe a modified playoffs as well, so they can have a winner by Labor Day, have all of September off, a little bit of October, but training camp starts in October, right, to start the season in November.
Right. Do you
So
think
we'll see what happens.
Do you think any of this zombie outbreak stuff or whatever, the neutered seasons, the lack of sports and whatever, do you think that's going to affect game sales, or do you think people are still going to come in and be like, yeah?
No, I think game sales will go up because people want the game. People want their sport. Right?
Yeah.
People want their sport, and if they can't see it, they want to play it. That's my.
I mean, sure, but why wouldn't you just play? I would just play the 2019, 2020 version, right? Because that's technically the last season that actually went down with that.
Look,
roster.
if I'll be honest, if football was delayed in any way, I'll be the first one to buy Madden 21.
Well, all right.
Even if I have to have simulate games. Just put the games, the computer versus the computer. Let me see.
All right, there you go. You got simulator, right? You pretend you're in the Giant Stadium.
But you know what? But you know what I want from EA? I want more Switch games.
Yes.
And it looks like we're going to get it because EA sort of said they're going to release more games on the Switch, and 14 games to be exact this year still coming to the Switch.
Well, that's gonna be a tall order because they already have zero games.
So long? What took them so long?
I can tell you what took them so long. They really just dragged their feet. They said, I don't know.
They had no faith in the Switch. They didn't.
They didn't. They put out FIFA, and that was it, right? Which is a good game to dip your toes in the water, but the Switch came out 3 years ago. Come on, people.
You know what I think?
Everyone else has jumped on board.
You know what I think? I think we'll get a modified version of all the games that are out. Yeah, definitely a visual downgrade, but I don't even think the games will be on the cart, right? I think it'll be you'll get all those download stickers of you need only half the games on the cart. You're gonna have to download the rest, right?
Well, so I think
we're gonna get a modified Madden 21. I think we're gonna get a NBA. NBA Live.
Right.
21. I think we can get all those games, but just modified versions.
But that's only like 5 games, right? You have basketball, football, soccer, hockey, football, right? Or baseball or whatever, right? That's like your big 5, right? What about the other 9 games? And the year's almost half over.
Unravel 1 and 2, right? We got, I think Unravel's EA. It was from their indie program. And they got physical releases everywhere except for the US. I know I was thinking about buying the Unravel 2 from the UK version on the Switch because it switches, obviously. Switch is is not region locked, and in the UK they speak English.
Yeah.
So
well, there's also not a lot of dialogue in that game either. So
yeah, and Unravel, they have Unravel. There's actually an Unravel 1 and 2 combo pack for the PS4 for the UK. But my PS4 isn't region locked, so it makes no sense for me to buy that. Right. And I already have both of those games, but I have them digitally. Screw the digital feature, because if they ever revoke that license, then I'm screwed. I want to play those games. Right? And those are good games. I literally made it halfway through both those games. I just got stuck on a puzzle and never went back.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I just think 14 games when the year's half over is a lot to chew off, right? Is a lot to bite off.
Well, you know what it means? It just means you're gonna get ports of everything that came out last year.
Yeah. I feel like they may go a little bit
in yesteryear, I should say.
Well, I feel like they may be putting some stuff like Dead Space on there, right? Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. Like they may go way back.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking physical, but you're right. I don't think we'll get any collections. I think to pad it out, we'll get Dead Space 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
all digital for like 25 a piece.
Like, considering all the good old shooters that have been on the Switch and have done well, all the like Bethesda titles, the Alien Isolation and all that, the Doom, the Wolfenstein, like everyone's eating them up. They're definitely doing well. Whether the game's on the cart or not is yet to be seen. But yeah,
the game is definitely not going to be in a cart.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can say to make me believe the game's going to be.
It is the worst, and I would not, because everyone wants to save money, right?
Well, speaking of games being on the cart, I always after every Mortal Kombat game, I mean, listen, I always buy the game, but then I buy like on Mortal Kombat X. I always bought Mortal Kombat XL. You know why? Because I wanted I wanted all the DLC characters.
Oh right? Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat 11 came out. And they just announced a DLC pack where we get RoboCop as a DLC character. You know what that means? That means if you're an 80s kid, right? What did you always say? You want to see RoboCop versus Terminator. You finally got your wish.
Robot versus robot. That's right.
So I can't wait to play that. I'm not going to buy the DLC. I'm just going to wait until they have the definitive version, an XL version, ultimate version, right? And I'm going to buy that so I can have them all on the cart and I don't have to unlock anything.
Yeah. I do have to say that Mortal Kombat, whoever is making these games now, I forget, but they do the best crossovers, right? They've had Freddy, they've had Jason, they've had the Predator, the Terminator, now RoboCop. Like, it's just fantastic. They're great. They fit in well, right? The characters, they're kind of gruesome and brutal. They fit in with the environment. They're always done well. So that's awesome. The other thing about this update too, like they are bringing the friendships back.
Aww,
if you remember those from MK2 and 3. Yeah.
Aw, you want to be my friend?
It's great. Those were fantastic because they were just like super funny, right? And it was made in response to, like, oh, the game is super violent. And they're like, oh yeah, and then they just end up coming back. Midway ends up coming back, and they're like, all right, no, we got you. We'll go ahead and make this kid-friendly. Throw these friendships in there.
Well, you mean Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios.
NetherRealm
WB.
Studios,
Well,
right.
it's really WB, the publisher.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. I love always buying the definitive edition so I can get all the characters. Same with Street Fighter. I have Street Fighter, the regular Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 5 Arcade, and Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition for PS5 or for the PS4s. So I love buying all the fighting games with all the DLC already out on the actual disc so I can have it.
Ah, it's just so nice. And yeah, I think on that note, I think that about does it, Dan. That's episode 218 of the books, folks. If you want to interact with us, and we know you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. And one more thing before we go, folks. We are proud to announce Saturday Morning Retro, a brand new podcast where we take a deep dive into retro games, where we get to show love to the games of yesteryear. It'll be up on the same Rated G feed, so you don't have to subscribe anywhere else. Our first episode will be up this Saturday. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.